So, Cameron, this is where I want to get to know the guests more. So I know in your case, your life changed recently quite a bit, right?
Yeah.
So, baby. So tell us a little bit about yourself and where you grew up and how you got into this.
Yeah, absolutely. Um, yeah, life has changed for me a lot between the last episode and this episode. I had my first child, which is an incredible experience. I'm actually still on paternity leave, which has been incredible to be able to have that time with my daughter. And I was born and raised in Salt Lake City. I went to the University of Utah, and I wasn't totally sure what I wanted to do. I knew that I loved the outdoors. Salt Lake City at the time when I was going to the University of Utah was the hub for the outdoor industry. Not long after I got into the industry, the hub kind of moved to Denver, and it's actually on its way back. Which, if you're from Salt Lake or have been to Utah, I'm so excited for, because I know that gives young individuals like myself 10 years ago, 15 years ago, the ability to tap into that industry. But I knew, I was a ski instructor all through college. I worked two or three jobs and multiple internships while I was going to school, and just knew that I wanted to go into the outdoor space. I wanted to work in an industry where I felt like the products that I was selling or that I was peddling were things that I love to do, or things that I love to play with on a daily basis. So got my first job out of school working for an awesome kind of like tent and kind of gardening manufacturer here in Salt Lake City. It was cool. It was a very like sustainable lifestyle. We would do these massive tents. Was a marketing coordinator, and that was like my first foray into digital marketing and trying to get products placed into magazines and online, and understanding affiliate and how this all plays together. And from there, I moved to a local ski manufacturer, which I would say is like where I really cut my teeth, is kind of that online digital and e-commerce manager, where I managed our direct sales, and I was kind of like the youngest and most technical person in the room. So they just said, "Here, like our website needs to be redesigned. Good luck." And from there, one thing led to another. Continued to manage e-commerce sites for a number of European brands and a couple of online retailers. I was a marketing director for a actual really early Amazon Jeff Bezos startup called Gear.com, which was a ton of fun rebranding and relaunching that to the world in 2018. And yeah, it's like one thing just kind of leads to another. I feel like I've been really fortunate in having a lot of serendipity in my career and making a lot of great connections that kind of will shoot me down a new direction that I find really exciting. And um, landed at Thrasio, went through a lot of change at Thrasio. I was part of a team based in Salt Lake City that managed all of our product launches, which was really, really exciting to launch, hundreds of products in a calendar year. It felt like we were doing a new launch or multiple launches every single day for any one of our 200 plus brands. And um, over time just started specializing in operations and systems, again being that kind of generalist, having managed e-commerce sites and getting into the nitty gritty on tools, and like putting myself in a brand manager's shoes, saying I see a metric go down. There's this bureaucratic in a really large organization about how we actually get to make an action to right the ship or do more of what's doing really good. And spent a lot of time at Thrasio working in systems and building operations in order to be able to, again, as I said, operationalize our product catalog so that we could manage 300,000 different ASINs the same way that a mom and pop would try to manage one or two ASINs. And being able to have that level of touch and attention to detail at such a large scale was a really, really fun project to be a part of, and ultimately what kind of like led me to my position here at Padian, which is a marketplace marketing agency where we manage some of the world's largest brands on Amazon. And being the kind of like data solutions manager and looking at the roadmap for reporting and just how we communicate success or failures of our products and our clients' products on Amazon, Walmart, Target, all these different marketplaces is really, really fun. I like to build things. I like to get into the weeds and just figure out how to amplify the success of the products or the people or the team around me.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you're doing a great job. It takes a lot. But what I'm curious about is this. So you mentioned you love the outdoors and you were a skiing instructor and you love skiing. How does a skiing guy end up behind the desk working on numbers?
Yeah, I know it's funny if I go back and read any of my early journals. Uh, I'm a sucker for wordplay, and I would always say like I don't want to ever end up in any board meetings, and I spelt it BORED instead of BOARD. Like I was somebody who just wanted to spend. I actually spent years in college working sewing paragliders. I worked for a paragliding company and like managed their shop and was actually sitting in a sewing machine, and loved that, but. Um, I'm pretty pragmatic, and as much as I absolutely love the outdoor industry, I don't want to sound too, high and mighty or whatever, but like at the end of the day, we're all trying to sell a product, and there's still, tons and tons of excess being created all over the place, and it's no industry I would say necessarily is holier than thou. And at the end of the day, for me, it honestly kind of came down to compensation. Like the outdoor industry is an incredible place, but wasn't necessarily somewhere I could raise a family, at least at the level that I was at in the trajectory I was on. So kind of took a step back and found some other verticals that I was still incredibly interested in and felt like added, tools and skill sets to me as an individual. And yeah, now I jokingly, previously used to call Amazon the beast and still do to some degree. I now tell everybody, yeah, I work for the beast at this point. Like they own and are e-commerce, at least in the United States. And it's good to feel like I'm still kind of on like the cutting edge of e-commerce. And who knows, maybe I'll end up in the outdoor industry. I still consult here and there for a number of outdoor brands. So I keep one toe in the water to keep me excited and make sure that I have a nice pair of skis or a good bike strapped to my feet when I'm in the mountains.
Yeah. Well, the way I see it is this: one of the biggest attractions of doing things outdoors is the action, right? So there's a lot of moving about, and there's a lot of action, and out of that action comes excitement. So, I mean, frankly, there is a lot more action happening on the internet when it comes to data and movements and all the things that one thing happens, that so many things change. And so there is a lot more action. If you're really attracted to action, well, look at this action here with the numbers, as long as you're a numbers oriented person, which you are obviously. So
Yeah.
it's not that different. The only difference is you sitting.
Yeah, absolutely.
Which is
Yeah,
not the help.
you got to stay curious. I think like it took me a while to figure out how to kind of like tap into maybe the more athletic or outdoor oriented side and unlock the curiosity for stuff online. But once I did, I think it obviously like really helped propel my career in the direction that it is today. But yeah, maybe now I get to enjoy the outdoors a little bit more now that it's not necessarily looked at like a paycheck. So, yeah, there's a little bit of like a, yin yang to the whole thing, but, yeah, it's fun to still have those as my passions and be able to work for a company and in an industry that allows me to still enjoy those passions. It's tons of fun.
Yeah, cool. Great.